So it's no secret that Berserk is inspired by the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, and a lot of his ideas are found throughout the manga. By the time that Berserk enters the Tower of Conviction arc, this is where we see a lot of heavy usage of Nietzschean philosophy. Perhaps some of you are familiar with Nietzsche's quote, "Faith means the will to avoid knowing what is true." In the Tower of Conviction, I think it's pretty clear that it's a commentary on faith in the myriad of ways that it affects people. I am not making this video to try and say that faith in itself is a bad thing, but if taken too far, it can become dangerous. Case in point, in one of the very first chapters of this arc, we get introduced to the antagonist, Mosguz, and his angels. It's pretty obvious from the get-go that this guy is totally batshit and a complete fanatic. The lengths that he goes in terms of torturing people for the sake of God is horrific, to say the least. This is a case that we can observe in real life as well. There are countless religious figures throughout history that have used their faith as an excuse to do all sorts of despicable things. Mosguz is a corrupt religious figure distilled down to its most extreme form. The most horrifying thing about him is that he feels so strongly about what he does. Feelings in themselves is what makes faith have such a strong grip on people after all. If we look at some of the examples of the characters in this arc, not all of them believe in the good word for the same reasons. For example, some of the Holy Iron Chain Knights are simply following orders and seem pretty loose with their morals. Another example of this would be the angels, as they have basically been taken in by Mosguz for their deformities. Imagine living a life being ostracized by society for the way that you look, and then someone comes along and saves you. The reason behind them joining the cause is due to a lot of emotional reasons. It makes them feel important and like they have a purpose in life. Essentially, he's been brainwashing them into his ideals. Perhaps the biggest example of feelings relating to faith is the general sense of fear that we get in some of these characters. Most people from the Holy Ground live in desperate conditions. They are constantly left in fear by the threat of witches and other sorts of paranoia. To them, someone like Mosguz would obviously be seen as some type of savior. He keeps a lot of the population in check and promises them false hope that ultimately gets them killed in the end, even when the truth is staring them right down in the face. Even someone like Farnese admits to following a lot of the norms based upon fear. I'm sure many of us know somebody that believes in ideals, be it religious or otherwise, that have no grounding in reality whatsoever. It's not uncommon for people to be confronted with facts only for their delusions to persist after. I think that's one of the most terrifying things about the human race, that we have such enormous capacity for lying to ourselves for the sake of our fleeting emotions. That warped idea of faith is what we see throughout this arc, but that's where Guts comes in to liberate people of their delusions. Guts to me has always been a character that represents the truth. Due to his blunt nature, he constantly clashes with the world of lies around him and leaves everyone disillusioned. There is no running away from him. He tramples over your feelings and does not care, much like reality. In some cases, he's capable of breaking free people of the brainwashing and encourages them to build their own path. Not through some phony faith, but through their own means. If you would like to support me, I have a Redbubble link down in the description and bio. Also, I have social media pages on Instagram, Twitter, DeviantArt, Kara, and much more. Thanks for watching.